Hello again. I hope this video finds you after you've been watching the village tour, because now we'll be covering the castle and castle grounds. And there is one thing I would like to say for the previous video. In the previous video I talked about the houses here, that they are different, all of them. They have different layouts and so on. But one thing I failed to mention, these shops, as you might have seen, the Funny Jungle, Wedding and Clothing shop is the same. They have the same layout. They are not 100% exactly the same, but they're close enough. And yeah, that's because most because I found the design to be cheap and it was easy, and of course it fits with a small business, I think. And that's why, mainly because the carpenter and smithing is a bit bigger because they make more money. These shops are smaller and they make less money, but they still have nice big houses, but not too expensive. So that's it. Let's all move on to these stables actually. These stables are not done. They are actually quite far from done. I mean, a roof, some walls, and some walls between. I'm not sure. I think might stay at 2 in height, or I might bring that up to 3 maybe. But we have a horse here. That's about it. And yeah, I think I will be taking up to 3 so that the animals don't move over to the next cubicle. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done here, and I am looking forward to doing it, but still, it's a lot of work. I've been so busy playing other games that, well, Portal Knights have quite honestly fallen a bit behind. Well, not behind, but it has been pushed back in the queue, so to speak. But let's move on to the spooky graveyard. Sorry about that. Yeah. And there is one thing about the gravestones that annoys me. Well, at least these gravestones with the skull. I love the design. Uh, not gonna... But why is there a skull on both sides and text? I mean, there's just one person buried here, and he's right here. Or she. And there's no one here. So why is there on both sides? Same with these tombstones. Why is there text on both sides? These though, they only have text and markings on one side, so that's good. And 2 crosses. I mean, it's a graveyard. And what would a graveyard without gargoyles be? Not a graveyard. And of course we have some cobwebs, some skulls, some candles. I mean, the traditional spooky medieval, I would say, cliche of a, well, crypt, mausoleum, whatever. Yeah, but I did find the design that I did here quite, I like it. It's good. And here are the royal, I would say, chest, coffins, I mean, sorry. And I do like it. I think it became quite well, quite good. And here is a, I would say secret, but I would also say maybe a hidden or crazed alchemist slash wizard place. And this is a collapsed passage. A secret passage that has collapsed. So let's move on. The only thing I'm a bit saddened about is almost the height I made this. I mean, it's enough. I mean, even with my top hat, I don't reach the roof, but I could have been higher. But I think I made that on purpose because I did that over air, maybe? Well, now to the main attraction, or something like that. My castle, Castra Solis. As I understand it, I think it was Latin, so Sun Castle or Castle of the Sun. And of course we have some stables here with a bit different animals. These are the guard quarters, or soldier quarters, whatever you want to call it. And they have their own private, sort of private bathroom. And then of course we move on to the throne room. Yes, I have the throne room behind the first doors because why not? Let's see which tower to start with. I think we're gonna start with the treasure room actually. Well, let's move on down here to the treasure room. Treasure and trophies, I should say. And also some some mannequins with different armors and weapons and all that. And yeah, this is the only trophy I've gotten so far from the... I can't even remember the name, but the wave game. Some more mannequins and of course the trophies from these, I would say, mini bosses, even though they can be quite annoying and powerful. And of course the Jade Dragon. I love that. I love this statue, it's so nice. And of course some other trophies, and yes, I have not bought the high tier, high rift this because I haven't actually gotten enough of those shards or whatever you want to call it. I can't remember the name of that either. But I will try to do that. Seriously, I'm too high for that. Oh yeah. Well, I will be trying to get that high rift trophy as well someday, but not right now. This is of course the, I would say, royal kitchen, but it's just a kitchen basically, because calling it royal would be a bit too much, I think. Now let's here is the royal dining room, as you can see, because yeah, this is the dining room and the kitchen is right next door basically. Let's move on to the battlements, because here is 2 cannons if we want to fire on some enemies. And nope, I'm not gonna fire this one right now, because if I'm correct, this would hit the stables, and I want my stables to be in one piece. And we'll be moving down there later on, but for now, let's move on to this tower. I believe this tower is quite empty. Yes, it is. Because I have no idea what to put here, honestly. I have had this tower for God know how long, but I have no idea what to put here. Now, let's move on past the stables and up this tower. And again, this tower is quite empty, because again, I don't know what to put here. I mean, it's a tower. It's basically a guard tower. If I could, I would put arrow barrels there, which I could buy from the guild. Right. There's a thought. I will be doing that later on. That's a good thought. Of course, this is the cellar. Well, cellar is technically this way, I guess. Let's take that first. Here is a guard room, guard room. And this is explosive barrels, and this is my thought behind these purple or meteor rocks is like they're magic, and if these would explode, it would contain them inside the room and not blow the whole castle up. And this is, as I said, the royal cellar. Yeah, I don't think the king is much for wine. Or queen. Maybe the guards are, but I almost forgot. This is, of course, the dungeon. So, welcome to my dungeon. This is the fighting pit. Yes, I have fighting pit. I have a fighting pit. This is where the guards take the prisoners who they think deserve it and put them against each other. They open this door, shove them into these cages, and when it's their turn to fight, the cage is opened up somehow, or they're forced out through this opening, and then they can choose a weapon. And of course these weapons are cheap, because if they had expensive and good weapons, they could use those weapons against the guards. So copper weapons, all of them. Yeah, this king is not the best, or the queen. is not the best kind of type, but hey, they're criminals. They maybe they deserve it. And of course here we hang in some criminals that you then just release and drop down. And this is of course a spectator stand. You can spectate the match at your own risk, because it has been known, criminals have been known to throw their weapons at the spectators. And what would a dungeon be without a rat? You know. Let's move on. Now we got to the ground level again, and I'm gonna mount up. And then we're gonna go to up here. As I said, this is the dining area, and then we'll... I'm too high. Or this is too low, depending on how you want to put it. And yeah, let's do the king's bedroom, actually. Yeah, this is the king's bedroom, and here's his armor and sword. Quite nice. I love that sword. Now let's move on to some, more outdoorsy. This is the, I would say dragon pen, I guess. And this is where I will be storing some dragons. I only have one so far. I think I have more dragons placed somewhere. Not placed out in the world, but in a chest. And this is the Mage Tower. Actually, this is the first thing I completed, because my main character used to be a mage, but since she's completed, I have moved on to my druid. And a sundial, some kind of research, flags of course, because we all want peace and equality and all that shit. And what would a mage be without a looking glass? Now, let's see, we've been there. Oh yeah, I know what's missing. Well, except for, of course, this is kind of missing. Yeah, that's a ship. We'll be moving on to that later. And I think we'll be moving on to no room to move. Okay, there we go. Now, let's see, we'll be moving on to the archery range here. And let's go down and out, and here we are, the archery range. Of course, several different targets, and here we have easy, medium, and hard. So this is only for the masters, or the masters, I guess, stand about right here. And this is of course training dummies with different kinds of weapons to practice on, and this is the fighting area. I would love it if they could give us grass that were cut and not fully grown, because it looks ridiculous having a training ground full of grass like this. And flowers. Wooden swords, because we don't want to hurt each other too much. And there's the barrel of arrows I talked about, and that would be a great addition to some of the towers, I believe, because, I mean, archery towers, shooting on enemies. But yeah, that's about it for the castle, I believe. Yeah, there is just, there's one more thing, or there are two things, but one leads to a different area altogether. But let's move up first. I actually had to redesign this tower quite a bit, because this is the captain, or captain of the guards room, and I had to redesign this tower because of this room, which will become a library soon enough. And I hope to complete this without too much trouble. And this is also where the empty area is, where I don't know what to put there. I had a thought about what to put there, but then I forgot about it. And of course we all know about the fake painting. This is of course a escape for the guards, for the king and queen and all those. And there are 3 pathways 2 of them are false. And my thought is, well, thieves will be running and turn around this corner and then you hear Wilhelm scream. And of course the third passage leads to safety, but if you don't carry a torch, it could be quite hard to notice this little trapdoor. You go down here, and then we move out, and we move on to here, where the ship is. Let's see, how is the water level? Just about, I would say, because I found that I had lost water on a previous time I came back. I had lost almost all of the water in the lake. I have no idea why. But yeah, this is my, I would say, pirate ship because it has a pirate flag, so I don't know if fleeing towards a pirate ship is the best way, but here is the pirate certificate. It's too big, honestly, it's too big. But captain's uniform, captain's cabin, of course. And I do miss, we need a captain's wheel, or ship wheel. Yeah, that's sorely needed. Now let's move on below deck, and we can see the crew quarters. Just simple beds, some cannons, flasks, and explosive barrels. Yeah, that's about it for the ship. Now, let's move on to something other. I have so much, I know. I have filled this island to the brink, I think. Let's see if I can move through these trees, because it's quite tight. Now we come to my own little, well, I would say, stone circle. Stonehenge, you know. And here is I think it's just an ordinary, I don't think this is fully upgraded druid stone. But yeah, that's my whole island. There is one thing that's missing, though, when I think about it. I do have a hunting tower in the woods, of course. But then there's also a logging cabin, wood cabin, lumberjack cabin, simply furnished, and the hunting tower here. I do have some animals running around somewhere. I think it's, yeah, here it is. A rabbit and a squirrel. I do love this game, actually. But yeah, that's my whole island. I made this, I don't know how long this have taken, but it's been long. And I am actually thinking of doing more, but too bad you can't expand the island too much out of the... You have a boundary. But I do love this island, and I hope you love the tour. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in future videos. Have a great life. Bye.